Okay, this is the review for Algebra 2 for the second semester exam. Looking at number 1, when you simplify this, the first thing you have to deal with is breaking down the square root of -8 and the square root of -2. So I'm going to come over here and do my upside down division for 8. 8 will divide by 2 4 times. And then 4 divided by 2 is also 2. So you pair them up and you pull them out. So this 5 actually just comes down. Plus, we're pulling a 2 out. It was a negative, so we've got to have an I. Square root of, we had a lonesome 2 that stays in. Bring down your -13 plus 2 is prime, so you can't pull anything out, but you got to deal with that negative, and so this becomes 4i square root of 2. So then you're going to combine your like terms, and 5 minus 13 is -8, and then 2i plus 4i is going to give you plus 6i, not like that though, not 61. It's going to be 6i square root of 2. 6i square root of 2, and that is your answer for that one. So number 2, you're going to distribute your 4 and you're going to distribute your -5. So this becomes 28 minus 4i, and this becomes minus 10 plus 30i. So 28 minus 10 gives you 18, and -4i plus 30i gives you plus 26i. Coming down to number 3, you cannot have an I in the bottom. We're going to multiply the top and the bottom by the conjugate. So we're going to say 3 minus I over 3 minus I. So when you distribute your 5, you get 5 times 3 is 15 minus 5i all over. Remember on the bottom when you're doing your conjugate, it's first minus last. So 3 times 3 is 3. No, 3 times 3 is 9 minus I times I is I squared. Remember that minus I squared gets changed to a plus 1 because it's like minus 1I squared. So we have 15 minus 5i all over 9 plus 1 is 10. Check and see if it will cancel, and it will. Everything divides by 5. So you have 3 minus I all over 2, and that is your answer. Looking at number 4, you're going to multiply by 1 minus 3i on the top and the bottom because that's what the conjugate is. You're going to actually distribute. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times -3i is minus 6i. -4i times 1 is minus 4i. -4i times -3i is going to be plus 12i squared. The plus 12i squared becomes minus 12. 2 minus 12 is -10. -6i minus 4i is minus 10i. That's just your top. So now to do the bottom, you're going to say first minus last. So 1 times 1 is 1. Minus 3i times 3i is 9i squared. This becomes plus 9. So you have -10 minus 10i all over 1 plus 9 is 10. They all divide by 10. So when this cancels, it gives you -1 minus I all over 1. Okay, changing gears, number 5, you're going to solve using the quadratic formula. I've given you this formula. So first of all, you need to figure out what I gave you 2 equations for, and that y equal x plus 8. Let's just mark that out and not use that. So your a is -3, your b is 4, and your c is -4. So negative b means -4 plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 4 squared minus 4 times a, which is -3, times c, which is -4, and it's all over 2 times a, which is -3. Do what's under the square root first, just what's under the square root. So you're going to say 4 squared minus 4 times -3 times -4, and we get a -32. So this becomes -4 plus or minus the square root of -32 all over 2 times -3 is -6. Come over here and take your 32 and divide it by 2. You get 16. 2 will go into 16, 8. 2 will go into 8, 4. 2 will go into 4, 2. So we have 2 and 2 that paired up. So this becomes negative 4 plus or minus 2 times 2 is 4. It was negative, so I, square root of, there's a lonesome 2, all over negative 6. These all divide by 2. I don't like a negative on the bottom, so I'm going to divide everything by negative 2. In other words, change your signs. So this becomes 2 plus or minus 2i, square root of 2, all over a positive 3. And that's your final answer. Number 6 wants you to solve by completing the square. When you're completing the square, you got to start by getting your constant all on the right. So we're going to move this 9. We have x squared minus 6x is equal to, and 32 minus 9 is 23. So you take your b, so negative 6, actually you don't worry about the sign. And you're going to take your b, which is 6. You always divide by 2. It's equal to 3. You square that is 9. You're going to add 9 to both sides. So you have x squared minus 6x plus 9 is equal to 23 plus 9. So then this you're going to factor, and it's always going to be x in whatever symbol they had and whatever number you squared. So x minus 3, quantity squared, is equal to 32, because 23 plus 9 is 32. You're going to square root both sides. So x minus 3 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 32, which if you will look up here earlier, when we did 32, you pull out a 2, you pull out a 2. So x minus 3 is equal to plus or minus 2 times 2 is 4 square root of 2. So add your 3. X is equal to plus or minus 4 square root of 2 plus 3, and that is your answer. Okay, going to page 2. Get at number 7. It wants you to solve. When you're solving a radical, the first thing you have to do is isolate. So we're going to move that 5. Square root of x is equal to 0 plus 5, which is 5. You're going to square both sides to get rid of your square root, and so x is equal to 25. Number 8, we've already isolated. We're actually going to cube both sides because it was a cubed root. They cancel out and leave me 2x plus 1 is equal to 3 to the third, which is 27. You need to bring your 1 over and subtract. So 2x is equal to 26. Divide both sides by 2, and x is equal to 13. Number 9, we are going to simplify. We're going to see what we can cancel. One has to be in the top, and the other has to be in the bottom for it to cancel. So x minus 2 and x minus 2 are gone. 5 is gone, and 10 becomes a 2. So you have a 2 and an x minus 3 that's left. On number 10, you're going to have to factor each part before you can cancel. 3x plus 6, you can pull a 3 out, and it leaves you x plus 2. Over 2x minus 10, you can pull a 2 out, and it leaves you x minus 5. Division means leave change to flip, so let's go ahead and change it to multiplication and flip it. X plus 3 goes to the bottom. 3x minus 5 goes to the top, and you can pull a 3 out, and it leaves you x minus 5. So your x minus 5 will cancel, and that's all that cancels because 1 has to be in the top and 1 has to be in the bottom. So 3 times 3 is 9, and we also have an x plus 2 on the top, over 2 and x plus 3, and that's your answer. Number 11, when you're adding, you have to have a common denominator. My common denominator, 5 and 10, is going to be 10a and b. Remember on that, you take the numbers, you find what they'll both go into. Any letter that appears has to go down to the common denominator. So we're going to compare 10 divided by 10, that's all good. A and A, that's all good. B is missing, so I need a B up here. 10 divided by 5 is 2. A is missing, and the B is all good. So B times 9 gives you 9B, plus 2A times 4A is 8A squared. You check to see if anything cancels, but it must be in every single term in order to cancel. So nothing cancels, that's your answer. Number 12, you're going to actually solve this. You want to start by seeing if you can break anything down. X plus 2 is good, 2x plus 1 is good, x and 3 are good, 4x plus 2, you can pull a 2 out, and it leaves you 2 times 2x plus 1. So now come over here and figure out, look at the bottom and find your common denominator. I know there's a 2x plus 1. I know there's a 3. And I know there's a 2. So now compare. 2x plus 1 is missing the 3 and the 2, so multiply those, it's really needing a 6. 3 is missing the 2 and the 2x plus 1. And 2 and 2x plus 1 is missing the 3. So multiply 6 times x plus 2, and you get 6x plus 12 equals, it's going to be 2x times 2x plus 1, so 2x times 2x is 4x squared, plus 2x times 1 is 2x, and then you have a plus, and 3 times 3 is 9. Lots of ways to go about solving here. You can go to y equal and put them in at y1 and y2. You could move things around and use the quadratic formula or factor. I don't really care how you solve it at this point. So we're going to say 6x plus 12 at y1, but I need to get rid of one of my pluses. And then we're going to say 4x squared plus 2x plus 9 at y2. And we're going to go second calc 5 and give it a minute to draw. And we're going to say enter, enter, enter. And negative 0.5 is your answer. So x is equal to negative 0.5. Looking at your calculator, let's go to zoom out. The reason I'm wanting to check this is that I see a 4x squared, which makes me think quadratic. It makes me think that it might have 2 solutions. So I'm going to go second calc 5, and I'm going to go way to the right. And then I'm going to do enter, enter, enter again. And sure enough, x equal 1.5 is also a solution. Anytime you see an x squared, you need to think there's probably 2 solutions. Okay, number 13, making you think back a little bit. Undefined means what would make it where there was something illegal in your problem, and it's the bottom. You take that x minus 3 and you set it equal to 0. You cannot have a 0 in the denominator. So solve this for x by moving your 3, and you get x equal 3. So it is undefined at x equal 3, which means that you have a vertical asymptote at x equals 3. Going to the next page. We have 4 to the x minus 5 is equal to 4 to the 8 minus x. As long as your base is the same, you just take your exponents and set them equal to each other, and then you're going to solve. So I'm going to move my x over here, and x plus x is 2x minus 5 is equal to 8. I'm going to add my 5 over there, and 2x is equal to 8 plus 5, which is 13. Last step is going to be divide by 2, and so x is equal to 6.5. 15, it's the same thing, except my bases are not the same, so I've got to rewrite my base. So 9 and 27 can be rewritten as 3 squared instead of a 9, and 3 to the third instead of 27. So now you're going to take 2 times x plus 6. 2 times x plus 6 is equal to 3 times 2x plus 5. And so at this point you can either put it in y1 and y2, or you can solve it by hand. I'm going to do it by hand and get 2x plus 12 is equal to 6x plus 15. I'm going to move my 6x, and 2 minus 6 is negative 4x is equal to, move my 12, 15 minus 12 is 3. Divide by negative 4, and x is equal to negative 3/4. Okay, if you had done it at y1 and y2, you would have gotten x is equal to negative 0.75, and that's the same thing, and I'm fine with that. Okay, I'm going to stop the video here. I will make another video starting at number 16.